Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, today we're going to take a bit of a break from talking about celebs and their baloney and talk about politicians and their baloney. So much more baloney and so much more dangerous baloney. Yep, election day is upon us. Tomorrow, America goes to the polls to decide on a new president, and not just a new president, a Senate, Congress, sheriffs, judges, public advocates, all sorts of propositions and measures. It is an incredibly important election, arguably one of the most important elections. I mean, in addition to all of the issues facing people, we are facing an absolutely crucial year in terms of our environment, in terms of planet Earth. And I think we've seen lately what Mother Nature can do when we make her mad. Hurricanes, pandemics. These are not accidents. We've pissed her off, and it's time we start making amends. So this is a super, super important election. In this video, I'm going to help you guys make some sense of smaller measures, propositions, stuff like that, because we probably know who we're voting for president. I don't think anyone's like, I'll decide when I get to the polls. Like, we all kind of know, and that's great, but we forget about the little measures, and the little measures are actually what truly creates our day-to-day reality in the town we live in. Sheriffs, mayors, city councilmen, propositions about things like trash collection, marijuana legalization, gun rights, things like that. So I will give you some easy hacks to figure out where you stand, some websites to go through, and, you know, in 15 minutes, you can become a very, very informed voter. Probably less, like honestly, probably like 7. Because if you're not going to be an informed voter, we're all going to reap what we sow. And we're too good for that. But first, just want to remind you guys, if you would like to catch up on Evil Week, the entire Evil Week, 7 days, 7 videos, 7 deadly sins, plus 2 bonus videos on how to inspire fear in your enemies and how to steal a man are up right now on InfStream. Head on over there. $2 a month, ad-free and uncensored. Also, if you would like a video shout out, a friend, a pep talk, birthday wish, head on over to Cameo and book me there, Shallon XO. All right, let's talk the election. A phrase I love is, you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. It's an incredibly true slogan. There is no more neutrality anymore. Neutrality is a luxury we don't have. And it's very telling that I see the most neutrality. Just, I don't know, I don't care, I don't vote, I don't like either one of them. I hear this from people in lower socioeconomic classes. I don't hear it from the rich. Do you know why? Because they're rich. And they didn't get rich on accident. They don't have social, financial, environmental control. Just, I'm the CEO of Enron? That's crazy. How did that happen? No, people in power took power, and they did it by being informed, and they did it by working the political system to their advantage. So it's time that the rest of us get the fuck on board, because at this point, we're either predator or prey. And I mean that we are either the victim of laws that don't serve us, or we are helping to enact laws that do. I grew up in a nice town, and I grew up with a good family. I'm very lucky, and my family drilled that into me 24 hours a day. My family's extremely political, extremely involved. I mean, everyone in my town is all my parents' friends, all my friends. Even when I was like 8 years old, we were all very political. And my family's motto was, Shallon, you are very lucky. You're a very lucky person. You were born American, white, attractive, English speaking. You have, honestly, not a lot to worry about. So your vote, obviously vote to help yourself, but your vote needs to help other people. You need to use your vote to lift up people who are in poverty, who are being oppressed, who don't have the voice and the agency and the elasticity that you enjoy as a white English-speaking American, right? And so that is why I vote Democrat. I have always voted Democrat. I am what they call a yellow dog Democrat, which means like you vote down party lines. There's some like old Southern senator in like 1850 something like back in the day. I like to think his name was Buford. He's like, well, shoot, I vote for a yellow dog if he was running Democrat. I vote Democrat my whole life. No one take that away from me. And I was like, you know what, Buford, exactly. So I am what's known as yellow dog Democrat. Why is that important? Because politicians very rarely jump ship. They very rarely jump party lines, you know? We don't have the luxury of, I'm going to vote for the person. I don't like her. Emails. You're not voting for your best friend. You're not even voting for fucking prom king, okay? You are voting for people who can do their job. When people elected Trump, they're like, he's just going to shake things up. He's not a politician. In what the fuck other profession is not being that profession a good thing? Would you hire a stripper to be your general contractor if you were building a house? No. She's gonna do things differently. She's got a roll of duct tape and a tarp, and I think she's gonna turn that into a 6-bedroom house. No, she won't. No, she won't. I don't know why it's like braggy and good to be like, they have no experience in politics. Now, of course, the answer is corruption. But I also want someone who understands the political system. I want someone who knows how to get things done, who knows how to grease the wheels. There's a lot of like nepotism and diplomacy in politics and glad handing. I want someone who's fucking good at that, but good at that for the side I support. And like I said, politicians rarely jump ship. This is absolutely the most important thing I want you to get out of this video. Politicians don't jump ship. It's very easy when we're looking at candidates and be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm a Republican, he's a Republican, but I don't really like him. I kind of like the Democrat better, or vice versa. It's like, well, I don't love that Democrat. I'm gonna vote for the person. Worst fucking idea ever. It is almost unheard of for a politician to not vote the way their party votes, whether it's the Senate, the Congress, House of Representatives, whatever it is. They stay in their lane. So I don't care how liberal that Republican is, how conservative that Democrat is, they are voting with the rest of the Democrats. So even if you have a very conservative Democrat, if a liberal Democratic bill is coming up, they're going to vote with the Dems, okay? This is just how it goes. That's why it was historic when John McCain voted against, I guess, gutting Obamacare. And, you know, he had just come out of like cancer treatments. And he's like, I can't, in good conscience, basically take away something that I myself just benefited from. He's a stand-up guy. But he was a Republican who jumped party lines. And that's why it was such a big deal. So that's why I vote yellow dog Democrat, okay? Because I know that it's... So it is extremely important to vote with your party. We simply don't have a political system that allows you to just vote for who you like. I mean, yeah, maybe that works if you're voting for like the mayor, but they're just the low man on the totem pole. And then the governor's going to put pressure on them, and the senator's putting pressure on him, and the congressman's putting pressure on him, and the president's putting pressure on them. And people give in. They give in to their party in no small reason because of money. If you are a Democratic donor and you fund this dude's political campaign and suddenly he's voting with Republicans, you go to him and you're like, good fucking luck on your reelection, dude. I'm not showing up and neither is my checkbook. People stay in their lane in terms of politics and party politics, right? So this is huge. I am also a Democrat because I want to protect the environment and I want to protect abortion rights. Those are my lines in the sand. And Republicans don't. You might have Republicans now who are very moderate. Oh yeah, the new Green Deal. If that comes up in the Senate, they're going to vote against it because that's how all the other Republicans are going to vote. And you have to be prepared for that, okay? So what you need to do is think of your central issues. Is it women's rights? Is it black rights? Is it the pay gap? Is it defense? Is it oil prices? Is it the economy? And vote which party prioritizes that. Now, like I said at the beginning, environment is my name in the game. Right? I have never understood who the fuck is arguing against the environment. Like, who are these people? Who are these people? You take someone who's an obvious psychopath, like say Dick Cheney, right? Like nightmare garbage person. I bet he has houses in the country, maybe on the beach, in the mountains. He probably even has one here in Montana. Get the fuck out of my state. And it's like, okay, so you enjoy the environment. You enjoy natural beauty. You enjoy like eagles and birds and dogs. And yet, you can't seem to bridge like, well, if we cover the planet with oil, there's no birds. I just don't understand. Like, even if you're a psychopath, you still enjoy nature. You enjoy things. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't know who's going to win this election. And I've kind of made peace with however it plays out. Like, if Biden wins, that's fantastic. If Trump wins, it's like, fuck, it's going to be more of the same, you know? And we've done it for 4 years. We can do it for another 4. And one of my ex-boyfriends said this. He's like, I just sometimes think the conservatives need to get it out of their system and just like dive headfirst into what they think they want. You want to gut Obamacare? Let me tell you a story. I was in Florida visiting my friends one time, like backwoods redneck Florida. And this big, like fat redneck dude. He was missing a finger. He's missing this finger. And I was like, Trey, what happened to your finger? And his wife, and Trey is like wearing a Trump shirt and blah, blah, blah. And his wife, she's like, I'm a Democrat. Let me tell you what happened to your fucking finger, Trey. Because heretofore, he was going on and on. Fuck Obamacare. Fuck Obama, blah, blah, blah. Trump was already in office. Fuck Obama. The emails. She's like, Trey, I'll tell you what happened to your finger. So this dumb fuck slams his finger in the door of his truck, right? He goes to the hospital. He ain't got no insurance. This is before Obamacare. And they're like, it'll be $5,000 to cut that finger off and sew it back up. And he's like, fuck, I ain't got that kind of money. So this dumb bitch, is her husband, goes out to his truck, gets his fucking circular saw right there in the parking lot and cuts it off. They go in, patch it up for $800. He's like, yeah, I know, I got it done. And she's like, you stupid fuck. Don't you know that if you had Obamacare, like you do now, by the way, they would have fixed that finger for very little money. And he's like, this is what blows my mind about politics, is when people can't vote in their own self-interest. I have never looked at a law or a bill or a policy or anything and thought, I don't know if that would be good for me or not. Of course I know. Oh, if they take away abortion rights, is that something that might affect me or the people I love? Yes. Okay. This is what I've always had a problem with the right wing, with the Trump faction, is that they just seem too stupid to vote in their own self-interest. Half these people need Obamacare and they're like, yeah, fuck Obama. It's just crazy. It's crazy the bias people have. And it's like, do you even have like an argument behind this? Or are you just like, yeah, fuck them? Like, Crystal, are you just like you just repeating back what you hear? And so it just made me crazy. It's like, do you not see that, like, dude, I'm Gucci. I don't have a mom who's addicted to meth. I ain't got a sister who's incarcerated. I don't have a daddy in a crooked nursing home. I don't have a son who's getting drafted. I'm good. And yet so many people who aren't good are voting for things that are going to make it way less good. Way less good. And it's like you get tired of trying to protect people who seem to be too stupid to protect themselves. But you know what? I've seen a whole lot of that from the left. I have. Oh, I don't like the way I don't like cops. Really? Okay. So let me destroy the city in which I live. Let me smash out all the windows on Fifth Avenue. What? Is this your idea of a revolution that wins hearts and minds? Is that what this is? Because that is required for revolutions. A lot of revolutions fail. And they fail by doing things exactly like this. No charismatic leader, no public service, no ask. What candidate? What bill do you want passed? What political prisoner do you want released? Oh, nothing? You just want to loot? You lost me. You lost me. So I have become much more moderate because I see the same bad behaviors on both sides. Like I said, though, I'm always going to vote Democrat because I want to protect other people and I want to protect the pandas and the polar bears and everything. Now, I know some of you guys are freaking out because it really is down to the wire. And it's like, well, I didn't register. And I understand the voting process is like, I mean, I'm a grown woman and I feel like I've been doing it for a long time. And every time I'm like, I don't understand. So there are several states that allow for same day registration. That means you can register to vote and vote right there all in one fell swoop. Okay, Michelle Obama posted this. I'm going to read the states off. We have Washington, California, Nevada, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Minnesota, Iowa. That's where Iowa is? I did not know that. Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, and note that many of these states are swing states, very important states. Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. So say you're heading to the polls tomorrow, right? I highly recommend you pick up the voting guide for wherever you are. I don't know why Montana had to publish it like a fucking calendar. Is this a Playboy? Is there a centerfold in here? Where are the tits? Oh, it's just a bunch of that's not interesting. But look, you might know who you're going to vote for president. And I know the big argument is it doesn't even matter. My vote doesn't matter. Yes, yeah, girl, it does, dude. Even if you think it doesn't, maybe just vote anyway. Maybe just vote anyway. Just in the off chance that actually every vote does count and they do matter. But let's say it doesn't for the presidency. It definitely does for the local elections, the small things, right? Things like propositions. Now, not every state has propositions. Montana does, California does, but I'm pulling up something that is going to be helpful. But it can be very difficult when you're reading a proposition and you're like, I don't know where I stand on this, honestly. Like, I kind of understand it, but kind of not. The hack here is to look at who supports it. So I pulled up this website called Cal Matters. It's like a California voter guide. And so there's this one proposition 14, okay? And they break it down really, really easily. And every single state has websites like this. If you search like Montana Voter Guide 2020, it's helpful if you can put like Montana Republican Voter Guide, Montana Women's Voter Guide, Montana Minority Voter Guide, because then you're going to get the point of view from people who are in your political party who can kind of help you. It's like, no, we support this, we don't support that, we support him, we don't support him, whatever it might be. So this is an example. California Prop 14. What would Proposition 14 do? Well, it would continue funding stem cell research by borrowing $5.5 billion. It would generate the money to keep open the state's own stem cell agency, the California Institute of Regenerative Medicine, and expand its research capacity. Okay, why am I voting for this? And then it talks about this. And here is the crucial part. Supporters and opponents. They give a recap of what supporters say about this and what opponents say. So supporters are like, Institute's stem cell research has led to clinical trials, biotech jobs, and research towards treatments or cures for ailments affecting half of California families. The primary beneficiaries of the Institute's grants are California labs and hospitals. The state also has collected royalties on successful stem cell developments and will continue to do so on future breakthroughs. Now, the opponents say, we gave it a try, but funding stem cell research didn't lead to the kind of life-saving cures voters hoped for in 2004. The federal government no longer bans federal dollars from supporting embryonic stem cell research, which is the reason California got involved in the first place. Plus, the Institute, one of the few state agencies not overseen by the legislature, had issues with conflicts of interest. Are you confused? I'm confused. I'm reading that and I'm like, I would assume I vote for stem cell research, but maybe not. Here's how you go one level further, and here's how you can decide how you're going to vote. Who supports it? Now, on California, like voter guides and stuff, and in a lot of other states, at the bottom of propositions, you'll see like supported by Greenpeace, the teachers union, oil companies, land developers. And so that can kind of help you figure out, whose team am I on? When in doubt, follow the money. Who would financially benefit from this law passing or this proposition? Like, there was a big thing in California, in my hometown, we had this huge open space because we had a military base there and it is closed down. So what are we going to do with it? And it was either a park or a prison. And the people advocating for the prison kept saying, jobs, jobs, jobs. There's going to be jobs, jobs, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but the people who are going to benefit from this, it's a private prison. It's a for-profit business. So the people who are going to benefit, it's like a small handful of people. The people who are going to lose are the citizens of this very affluent town who now have a prison there. The park, on the other hand, benefits the citizens, but doesn't benefit this handful of like money land developer prison people. So people voted it down. We got the park. So here on this proposition with the stem cells, who's for it? Okay. University of California Board of Regents, the Michael J. Fox Foundation of Parkinson's Research, the Latino Cancer Institute, Sickle Cell Disease Foundation of California, Governor Gavin Newsom, California Institute of Regenerative Medicine Board of Directors. Okay, it's pretty good list of people who are for it. Who's against it? Jeff Sheehy, board member of the California Institute of Regenerative Medicine. Los Angeles Times editorial board. Who asked you? San Francisco Chronicle editorial board. Wait, literally, who asked you? Mercury News and East Times editorial boards. Who? I have been on an editorial board. It's like Shallon Lester of Star Magazine. It's like, who the fuck asked you? Like, what? So to me, I agree with more people on the for it, disease foundations, the governor, the board of directors on this institute that does all this testing versus like one guy on the board who's like, not me. Big red flag if there's just one person, like if you see an individual name who's like for or against someone, that's kind of a red flag, because usually they're a land developer, and again, follow the money. They might have an interest in something getting passed or not passed that's very personal, and it benefits like them completely, right? It's also really important to vote for things like judges, sheriffs, city councilmen. When things start small, things at your local level, they affect stuff like traffic. How many buses get to run? Oh, your friend got a DUI? Did he get his license taken away for 5 years? Or did he get community service? That's a judge you probably elected. You know, like these things really, really matter more so than the larger. But we are in a time of absolutely crucial, we're in a really crucial place in terms of the Senate, okay? If we don't have a Democratic Senate, if our Senate goes Republican in this election, and we have Trump back in office, it is going to be a bloodbath. Do you understand me? They are going to gut abortion rights. They're going to gut healthcare. I've been on Obamacare. When I got laid off from Star, it was either I signed up for Cobra, which is like the healthcare that they give you when you get laid off. It was, I think, $1,000 a month. I'm a single person. I don't have dependents. I'm healthy. And just to buy insurance would have been $900. I couldn't have afforded that. Even Obamacare, with Obamacare, it was $300 a month, which is still a hell of a lot of money when you're out of a job, but I could afford that. And look, it's not a gift. It's not welfare. My tax dollars pay for this shit. I would rather have my tax dollars going towards keeping people healthy, which means there's less homeless people, right? Because now people have mental health services. It means there's less kids. I don't particularly love an overpopulated earth, because now people have access to abortions, pregnancy, family planning, stuff like that. It's less sick old people. It's less people spreading a pandemic, so that we can get back out there in the world and start licking things and boys and having casual sex again like we're meant to. There's no downside to a healthy population. There just isn't. I would rather have my money go there than to defense. We got enough rockets. We got enough missiles. Like, I want to keep our citizens healthy before I want to destroy the citizens of another nation. That's my, and I was in ROTC. I love the military. I'm a huge proponent. But because I love the military so much, I vote Democrat because they are historically less likely to engage in wars. They start fewer wars than Republican presidents do. So if I support the military, if I support the cops, I go Dem. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you know what? You're going to have to do a little bit of research. I know. I know. It's like homework. I have to go do civic homework. Yes, you do. Because if you think whatever is going to happen in the next 4 years won't come knocking at your door, look at this pandemic. Do you know why this is such a clusterfuck? Because the commander-in-chief has been a clusterfuck. The White House has been a clusterfuck. They've been science deniers. They've ignored advice. They literally threw in the trash the pandemic playbook. Literally threw it in the trash. And that's, we got what we paid for, you know? We got exactly the outcome that you would expect when you deny the evidence of experts and their advice. Okay. If you think that this won't get worse and continue, it absolutely will. And if you think that whatever your race, your socioeconomic position, your social status is that's going to insulate you from this bullshit, it won't. It won't. It will come to your door. And if you are a woman watching this, it will come to your door first. They've been trying to oppress us for so long, and they've been doing an excellent job, I gotta say. Really been working. This is our chance. This is our chance to turn the tide. And you know what? You cannot sit there and say, I deserve to be treated with respect by this fuckboy or my friends or my boss. But on the macro, no. Mexicans should... No. Jews, no. Black people, no. But I do as an individual. Respect on the micro is respect on the macro. If that's what you think you deserve as an individual, then you, if you're an alpha female, and I know that you are watching this, you have to look around and say, then everyone deserves this. Everyone deserves to be healthy. Everyone deserves to have the right to control their own body. Everyone deserves to live in a world that isn't like polluted with smog and oil slicks and dying pelicans. This is our chance. And dude, we got to use it, or it's going to go really, really bad. And very, very soon. So get out there and vote. Like I had mentioned before, there are many states that are doing same-day voter registration. Go out, spend 15 minutes just looking at the measures, looking at the propositions, looking at the candidates for judges and sheriffs, stuff like that, and say, where do I fall? Be an informed voter. You are either part of the problem or you are part of the solution, baby girl. There is no more neutrality. That is something for children. We are not children. We are women, and we will inherit the earth if we choose. And we choose through intelligence, and we choose through action. So get out there and vote, and may God continue to bless America.